I'm Holly,
I'm Charisse.
and thanks for tuning into Ask Mom.
Today we're going to talk about extreme depression and suicide.
It's a really serious topic. It's extremely common among teens.
Males and females. You have hormones raging at this age. You have a ton more stress than I think in the past years people used to have as teenagers. So much more demands put on you that if it's hard for you to handle, it could lead to depression and thoughts of suicide.
Well, actually, one specific situation recently where a girl was writing and didn't really seem very dire, but she was saying that she struggled with very extreme depression. And I think I only had maybe 5 or 6 conversations with her. Luckily, all of those were very meaningful conversations. They weren't sort of light. And but then the next thing I knew is she didn't write again, and her mom wrote me and said that she had found the emails and that her daughter had committed suicide. And all of it was about a decision that she made that she regretted. And she just couldn't forgive herself for the decision that she made. And I just kept thinking, oh my goodness, if kids could only see themselves through the eyes of a 45-year-old who's made their share of mistakes and realizes that it wasn't a good mistake that she made, but she could have so gone past it and gotten to a place of forgiving herself and lived a really long, wonderful life, making better decisions, right?
And maybe helping other girls out with the same issues.
Exactly. I mean, there are things that are going to come into your path. You're going to make wrong choices. No one's going to be perfect. And some of those choices are going to be just little things that you wish you hadn't done, and some are going to be monumentally huge, and you're going to feel so bad about them. But there is just forgiveness and light at the other end of the tunnel, and you just got to walk through it.
Yeah.
Get the help you need. Yeah, there is hope. And 99.9% of the time, it gets better. And so you just gotta hold on to that. And it's a horrible feeling when you feel like what you've done is irreversible. It's a horrible feeling, but you know, it's a part of life. It's a part of what we all have to walk through and experience, and it gives us empathy for other people, and it's just important, an important part of our spiritual journey too.
So if you're feeling depressed, I think one thing you can do is make sure you talk to somebody about it.
Right.
Because sometimes with depression, you can just wind it up, and it just keeps on going down and down, and you just feel worse and worse and worse. If you can, journal about it, write about it, talk it out. Somebody else's perspective on the other side might be, oh my gosh, you're worried about that, and a lot of times the things that you're worried about, you look back like 6 months ago at the things you worried about, and it's done, it's over, right? So things pass.
They do.
And it might not, you might be in the position right now where you're like, this is never going to get better. This is horrible, and I don't know how I'm ever going to get out of this hole. But there's a ton of hope, and there's a ton of people that want to help you.
Right. And I've had it where, I've had mild depression hit at various times in my life. And usually it was, I couldn't even put my thumb on what was wrong with me. I was just sad. And it was just hard to get up in the morning. And so sometimes you feel guilty because sometimes everything's going pretty good in your life, but you're feeling kind of sad and kind of depressed. I think a lot of times those things are hormonal.
Right.
And you just, you got to be good to yourself, and you got to still talk it out. And if you're journaling, you're like, I don't even know what to journal because I don't even know what happened. I'm just sad. Then just write about why you're, write about being sad, and write about how you feel, or tell somebody, I'm just feeling sad. I don't even feel like I have the right to feel sad, but I do.
Right.
And, if it goes on for more than a few days, I think it's a good idea to just call a doctor and just say, I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I need to just have my blood checked and see if maybe you're really low in something. That would be so easy for them to be able to give you a supplement, and your body kicks back into gear and starts feeling better.
I think sometimes too with depression that I've seen is that can really help is what you're eating. Your diet has so much to do with how your brain is balanced. And so if you're just eating things that are just horrible for your body and no good for your brain function, it's not going to help with your depression. It's just going to make it worse.
Right.
One thing that helps too is exercise.
Yeah, all the things that are good for you.
Right.
Getting outside, getting fresh air, getting some exercise, getting enough sleep. I mean, a lot of times people have difficulty sleeping when they're depressed, or they just don't feel like eating, so they just don't. Sometimes you just have to do things even when you don't feel like it. And you just you just muddle through doing it, even though you know you don't want to do it. You just do it anyway. And a lot of times being able to step out of yourself and helping someone else can really help a lot. And so if you're really depressed and, you know, you happen to go to a church, go volunteer in the nursery. Go work with little kids. Go hold some babies. Some tired moms need you to hold their baby at the church. Go hold their babies and take care of them. Go help people less fortunate than yourself. Spend some time at a homeless shelter serving food, or, you know, helping someone else who's down. And sometimes perspective can help.
Right.
Obviously, it's not going to help a lot if it's just a hormonal issue for you. Then that's something that's going to need to be balanced in some way. But if it really is just your circumstances, stepping outside your circumstances and seeing somebody else's pain can often help lift you out of where you are. Let's see. So teen hotlines are a good place to start if you're not ready to ask for a counselor. It could be, you know, a good way to get some help. Particularly, a lot of times it hits late at night and you're having a hard time sleeping. Everybody else in the house is asleep, and maybe that's the time you turn to behaviors that aren't healthy for you. And so that's a great time to call a 24-hour hotline, right? And say, I need some help. I'm feeling really vulnerable right now. Let's see, you can email us. That's a place to start. You know, I mean, we're just by email and we're moms, so we're not professionals, but we can encourage you and we can maybe help you find resources to help you. God is comforting, and being able to talk to God and say, I may not get you, I may not get, you know, the whole spiritual thing, but I want to understand and I need some help. And, you know, what better place to turn to than your creator, the person who made you, who knows you the very best. And so just pray. Praying is just talking. Just, I'm so sad. I need some help. Help me to see something good in all of this chaos, and help me to feel your presence, and help me to find some peace and get some rest. And, you know, just pray for what it is that you feel will really lift you out.
I mean, his ultimate promise is that he'll hold you there in those dark places, so you're not alone.
Yeah. So take some time to explore that. Take some time to, you know, go to a youth group, or if you have a Bible, pull out a Bible and read something in the New Testament. You know, start with Matthew and read through and see if you can find some things that might give you some comfort.
There's been plenty of times where I've like Googled like scripture verses on hope or scripture verses on healing, and a ton pop up, and one might just really take hold to you, and you could put it on a 3x5 card and, you know, carry it around in your pocket or stick it up on your mirror and just, you know, go to that verse every time you need it. Yeah. It can be really helpful.
And needing it is like you start to spiral. You have a thought and you can feel yourself starting to spiral to that dark place. And part of stopping the spiral is deciding, I have some control over this, which you do. And so at the first thought, you grab that index card and you say, I'm not going to think this thought. I'm going to choose to believe what I'm reading here in front of me. And, you know, you read it and you read it and you read it until that washes over you and you start feeling like, okay, I feel like I can breathe again, you know? Have a good cry and move on, you know? So are all things that seriously help. Let's see. And most of all, just realizing you don't have to feel this way forever, and that some of the way you feel is a choice and some of it is your circumstances. And you have no idea if tomorrow is the day that you start feeling better. And that's a big reason why you hang on. And you have probably no idea how many people on this planet look up to you or respect you or love you or value you in some way, that need you to make the choice to hang on for another day. And so we also have a video on hope, and it's all kinds of songs. So if music speaks to you, it's lots of different songs that you can watch on YouTube that hopefully will give you some of that hope. If you don't know how to look up a scripture verse or even know what a scripture verse is, you can go to a lot of those songs, have scriptures buried into the music to just give you something to hang on to when you're really struggling. So it's definitely helped some other girls that have written. I hope it'll help you. And we hope that you'll find a way out of this dark place and back into the light, which is where you need to be. Okay, I'm Holly.
I'm Sharice.
Thanks for tuning in today to Ask Mom.